Hey there, bookworms and monster fans. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to take a deep dive into the twisted mind of Johan Liebert, one of the most fascinating characters in anime and manga history. For those of you who don't know, Johan Liebert is the infamous antagonist from the anime manga series Monster. He's a charismatic and highly intelligent villain who enjoys nothing more than manipulating people and committing heinous crimes. And if he were a real person, we're pretty sure he'd be an avid reader as well. So, in this video, we're going to explore the top 5 books that Johan Liebert would read if he were a real person. But don't worry, we're not just pulling these titles out of thin air. We've carefully selected books that align with Johan's character traits, interests, and motives. Because, let's face it, if Johan doesn't approve, you may not live to tell the tale. So, buckle up and get ready to dive into the twisted mind of Johan Liebert, and the books that would keep him up at night. Book 1, Beyond Good and Evil by Friedrich Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche, the philosopher who said God is dead and gave us all an existential crisis. Well, it's no surprise that Johan Liebert would be a fan of his work, specifically Beyond Good and Evil. This book explores the concept of morality and the idea that there is no objective truth. And for Johan, who's basically a walking contradiction, it's a perfect fit. I mean, the guy is a cold-blooded killer with a charming personality. He's beyond good and evil, quite literally. Beyond Good and Evil by Friedrich Nietzsche is a highly influential philosophical work that explores the nature of morality and truth. Nietzsche argues that traditional concepts of morality and truth are illusory, and that there is no objective truth or universal moral code that applies to everyone. Instead, he advocates for a more individualistic and subjective approach to ethics, where each person creates their own moral code based on their individual will to power. For Johan Liebert, Nietzsche's philosophy would be a perfect fit. Johan is a highly intelligent and charismatic villain who has no qualms about committing heinous crimes. He sees himself as a superior being who is above traditional moral codes and societal norms. In a way, Johan's worldview aligns perfectly with Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch or the Superman, a concept that Nietzsche explores in Thus Spoke Zarathustra. Nietzsche's philosophy also provides Johan with a justification for his actions. If there is no objective truth or morality, then Johan's actions cannot be judged as either good or evil. Instead, they are simply the expression of his individual will to power. This idea is reflected in Johan's own words in the series, where he states that there's no such thing as good or evil, it's just a matter of perspective. However, Nietzsche's philosophy is not without its dangers. It can easily be misinterpreted and used to justify heinous actions. In fact, Nietzsche himself was deeply concerned with the misinterpretation of his work and the potential for his philosophy to be used to justify fascism and other forms of authoritarianism. In conclusion, Beyond Good and Evil by Friedrich Nietzsche is a book that Johan Liebert would definitely have in his collection. It aligns perfectly with Johan's worldview and provides him with a justification for his actions. However, it's important to remember that Nietzsche's philosophy is complex and should be approached with caution. Book 2, The Psychopathology of Everyday Life by Sigmund Freud. The Psychopathology of Everyday Life by Sigmund Freud explores several key concepts that would be of great interest to Johan Liebert. These concepts include the unconscious mind, repression, and the role of memory in shaping our behavior. Johan is a character who is highly skilled at manipulating others, and he understands the power of the subconscious mind. By reading Freud's book, Johan would gain a deeper understanding of how the unconscious mind works and how it can influence our behavior in ways that we may not be aware of. This would allow him to better manipulate others by targeting their subconscious desires and fears. The concept of repression is also central to Freud's book. He argues that our unconscious desires and impulses are often repressed or hidden from our conscious awareness. However, these repressed desires can manifest themselves in various ways, such as lapses in memory or Freudian slips. Johan, who is a master of manipulation, would find this concept particularly interesting, as it would allow him to exploit the unconscious desires of his targets. Finally, Freud's book also explores the role of memory in shaping our behavior. He argues that seemingly insignificant events from our past can have a profound impact on our current behavior. For Johan, who has a traumatic past and a complex relationship with memory, this concept would be particularly relevant. He would be able to better understand his own behavior and motivations by exploring the role of memory in shaping his own actions. In conclusion, The Psychopathology of Everyday Life by Sigmund Freud would be an excellent addition to Johan Liebert's collection of books. The concepts explored in the book would be highly relevant to Johan's character, and would allow him to better understand the workings of the human mind. This would make him an even more effective manipulator, as he would be able to exploit the subconscious desires and fears of his targets. Book 3, The Killer Inside Me by Jim Thompson. The Killer Inside Me by Jim Thompson is a novel that centers around the character of Lou Ford, a small-town sheriff's deputy who is also a charismatic and sadistic killer. Lou is able to charm his way into people's lives and manipulate them to his advantage, all while hiding his dark and violent tendencies. This book would definitely appeal to Johan Liebert, as he shares many similarities with Lou Ford. Both are master manipulators who are able to charm their way into people's lives, all while hiding their true natures. Johan would appreciate the way that Lou is able to blend in with his surroundings and manipulate those around him, and he would likely find inspiration in the way that Lou is able to indulge his darkest desires without getting caught. At the same time, the book also explores the psychological toll that Lou's actions take on him. Lou is haunted by his own demons and struggles to reconcile his sadistic tendencies with his own sense of morality. For Johan, who is also a complex and conflicted character, this would be particularly appealing. He would be able to relate to the way that Lou struggles with his own sense of morality, and the way that his actions have consequences. In conclusion, The Killer Inside Me by Jim Thompson is a book that would appeal to Johan Liebert's interests. It features a charismatic but sadistic killer who is able to manipulate those around him, and explores the psychological toll that such actions take on the killer. Book 4, The Prince by Niccolò Machiavelli. The Prince by Niccolò Machiavelli is a book that would be highly relevant to Johan Liebert's interests. The book is a classic work on political strategy and manipulation, written in the early 16th century during the Italian Renaissance. Machiavelli's aim was to provide a guide for rulers on how to gain and maintain power, even if it meant using unscrupulous methods. For Johan, who is always seeking to manipulate and control others, the prince would be a perfect fit. The book offers a range of strategies for achieving power, from building alliances and creating fear to deception and outright violence. These are all tactics that Johan has employed at various points throughout the series, as he seeks to further his own agenda and achieve his goals. One of the key themes of The Prince is the idea that the ends justify the means. In other words, as long as a ruler is able to maintain their power and achieve their objectives, it doesn't matter how they got there. This is a philosophy that Johan would be very familiar with, as he is willing to use any means necessary to achieve his goals, no matter how cruel or ruthless they may be. The Prince by Niccolò Machiavelli is a book that would resonate with Johan on many levels. One aspect of the book that would likely appeal to him is its focus on the importance of maintaining a reputation for strength and ruthlessness. Johan is well aware of the power of fear and intimidation, and has used it to great effect throughout the anime. Machiavelli advises rulers to be feared rather than loved, as fear is a more reliable tool for maintaining control. Another concept from the book that would be relevant to Johan is the idea that rulers must be willing to break their promises and betray their allies in order to stay in power. Johan has demonstrated this kind of ruthless pragmatism many times, as he is always looking for ways to gain an advantage over his opponents. He has no qualms about betraying those who have helped him in the past if it suits his purposes. One of the most famous passages from The Prince is the one that discusses whether it is better for a ruler to be loved or feared. Machiavelli writes that ideally, a ruler would be both loved and feared. But if they have to choose one, it is better to be feared. This is a sentiment that would certainly resonate with Johan, who is well aware of the power of fear and intimidation. He is willing to do whatever it takes to maintain his position of power, even if it means sacrificing his personal relationships or sacrificing innocent lives. Overall, The Prince is a book that offers a wealth of insights into the nature of power and politics, and would undoubtedly appeal to someone like Johan, who is constantly seeking to expand his influence and outmaneuver his opponents. Machiavelli's pragmatic, ruthless approach to politics would be a perfect fit for Johan's worldview, and he would likely find many valuable lessons within its pages. Book 5, The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich by William Shirer. The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich by William Shirer is a comprehensive account of Nazi Germany, from its rise to power in the 1930s to its defeat in World War II. As someone who is deeply interested in history, Johan would no doubt find this book fascinating. But beyond its historical value, The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich would also appeal to Johan on a more personal level. One of the key themes of the book is the nature of power and how it can be used to control and manipulate people. This is a topic that is of great interest to Johan, who has made a career out of manipulating others to further his own goals. The book provides many examples of how the Nazis were able to use propaganda, fear, and violence to maintain control over the German population, and Johan would no doubt be intrigued by these tactics. One specific aspect of the book that would be particularly relevant to Johan is its discussion of propaganda and mass manipulation. Hitler's rise rise to power was largely facilitated by his mastery of propaganda, and the book provides a detailed examination of the techniques and strategies used by the Nazi regime to control and manipulate the German people. Furthermore, the book's analysis of Hitler's personality and leadership style would be of great interest to Johan. Like Hitler, Johan is a highly charismatic and manipulative figure, and he would likely find many parallels between himself and the Nazi leader. The book's exploration of Hitler's rise to power and ultimate downfall would be especially relevant to Johan, who has himself experienced both triumph and tragedy in his own quest for power. Another aspect of the book that would appeal to Johan is its focus on the psychology of dictators and their followers. Shirer delves deeply into the mindset of Hitler and his inner circle, examining the factors that led them to embrace their radical ideology and commit unspeakable atrocities. The book serves as a reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the ways in which authoritarian regimes can lead to the destruction of entire societies. Overall, The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich is a book that would be highly relevant to Johan's interests and worldview. Its analysis of power, propaganda, and mass manipulation would provide valuable insights for someone who is already a master of these techniques. Conclusion. Here's a short summary on all 5 books which Johan and all the viewers must definitely read once. Beyond Good and Evil by Friedrich Nietzsche. This book explores the concept of morality and the idea that there is no objective truth. It's a thought-provoking read that will challenge your beliefs and make you question the world around you. If you're interested in philosophy and want to expand your knowledge, this is a must-read. The Psychopathology of Everyday Life by Sigmund Freud. This book provides a deeper understanding of how people think and behave, making it a fascinating read for anyone interested in psychology. Freud's insights into the human mind are still relevant today, and this book will give you a new perspective on everyday interactions. The Killer Inside Me by Jim Thompson. This novel features a charismatic but sadistic killer as its protagonist, making it a captivating read for anyone interested in crime and psychology. Thompson's vivid writing style will draw you into the mind of the killer and keep you guessing until the very end. The Prince by Niccolò Machiavelli. This classic work on political strategy and manipulation is a must-read for anyone interested in politics and power. Machiavelli's insights into how to gain and maintain power are still relevant today, and this book will give you a new perspective on the world of politics. The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich by William Shirer. This detailed account of Hitler's Germany is a fascinating read for anyone interested in history. Shirer's writing style is engaging and informative, and this book is a must-read for anyone looking to deepen their knowledge of World War II. If you're interested in any of these books, the links to purchase them are in the description. We highly recommend giving them a read and expanding your knowledge and perspective. Also check out our previous video on Niccolò's top 5 books. These books reflect Johan's deep interest in psychology, philosophy, crime, politics, and power. They also highlight his love of reading and his fascination with the darker aspects of human nature. Whether he's studying the strategies of Machiavelli, delving into the depths of the human psyche with Freud, or exploring the twisted minds of murderers with Thompson and Ellis, Johan is always seeking to expand his knowledge and deepen his understanding of the world around him. And that's it for today's video on Johan Liebert's reading list. We hope you enjoyed our exploration of the books that would appeal to this enigmatic character. But we want to hear from you. Do you agree with our choices? Or do you think we missed some books that Johan would love? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more such content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.